Derek, I appreciate you taking out some time to talk to me a little bit, man. I'm writing a book called The Recruit's Playbook, and I'm getting some guys like yourself. And I had Paul Spicer on yesterday. You remember Paul?
Oh, yeah.
I had Paul Spicer on yesterday. And so, first off, Derek, before we get started, just tell me a little bit about yourself, man, your background, the college that you went to, and your professional career. Just give me a snapshot of who you are.
Yeah. So coming out of Greenville, North Carolina, I was able to get a scholarship to William and Mary to play football. And at William and Mary, I had the privilege of serving as team captain for 2 years, my junior and senior seasons. And I put up some good numbers statistically my senior year, which opened up the door for me to have the opportunity to play professionally in the NFL. And so after having a good pro day, I was drafted in the third round by the Jacksonville Jaguars. And that led to me having a 7-year career in the NFL. And from that 7-year NFL career, it opened up the desire for me to get into player representation. And so after I retired from football, I transitioned into grad school and got into UCLA's MBA program and began to study and educate myself on business. And I'm set to graduate here June 11th.
Man, congratulations, dude. That's big time.
Yeah. I'm excited, and it's been a good process. Great program, recommended for anyone that's thinking about getting into business and studying business. And so with that MBA, I will continue pushing forward as a sports agent and developing a sports agency. So that's where I'm at currently. And as I said, yeah,
it's awesome.
It's a great opportunity. So looking forward to moving ahead.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And congratulations to you. And I think it's big time because we need some more minorities in that particular profession too. So, and I'm glad that you get into that niche. So, Derek, just kind of walk me through your journey in high school recruitment, and how did you end up at William and Carey? Just walk me through that recruitment process for you while you were in high school.
Yeah, so for me in high school, it was, for first off, I had the vision and the goal and desire to play college football as a freshman in high school. And that all came from my brother, who is 3 years older than me. His name is Travis. Travis received a scholarship to East Carolina University going into his senior season of high school. And when he got that scholarship, it opened up my eyes to the fact that, oh man, like this is achievable. Like, or like it just gave me an aim. It gave me something to shoot for. And so going into my freshman year, that was the goal. Hey, I'm going after getting a full scholarship to a Division I football school. And I had my eyes set on big programs. Like I was thinking the ones that I would see on TV. Oh, Florida State, Miami, schools of that nature. East Carolina University would have been happy with that because that was right in my hometown of Greenville, North Carolina. And so that was the goal. And when I got to my senior year, statistically, I had put up good numbers my junior year. I had put up good numbers my senior year. I didn't go to any camps though. The only camp that I went to was a camp going into my junior year at East Carolina University. And actually, it actually may have been going into the only camp I actually did may have been actually going into my 10th grade year at East Carolina University. And I remember, man, I ran a 4.9 at the camp. I ran a 4.9, man, and I remember telling a guy, his name is Kevin Monroe, and he played at East Carolina University, and I admired him because he was an older guy, and he went to my church, and he was, just a good character guy. And I remember seeing him in the parking lot after the camp, and he asked me, he was like, "What'd you run for the 40?" And I was like, man, I ran a 4.9, and he paused and he said, "That's disgusting." And And from that point on, though, man, like I was dialed in to like building up my speed and gaining speed, and so it just helped me. It really dialed me in, and I began to just focus and it helped because I was, like I said, statistically I was productive my junior year, and statistically I was productive my senior year. And after the season was over, I had schools recruiting me. And I hadn't gone to any camps and ran to any of these schools, but I had statistically performed well, and we had a good team. We had a good team that competed in the state championship, and so I had schools recruiting me. I had Coastal Carolina, Wofford College, Appalachian State, and William and Mary. And Duke was kind of on the radar, but Duke fell off when they fired their coaching staff. So It was just the four: Coastal Carolina, Wofford College, William and Mary, and Appalachian State. And I took visits to all those schools, and William and Mary for me was the best option.
Yeah. I think it's interesting too, just Derek, because I was curious about, I've always wondered, how did you slip through the cracks? Because I would be thinking that a 6-foot corner coming out of high school typically would get highly recruited, in today's football, especially me knowing, I know coming out, you ran a 4.3. So I was thinking maybe at least this dude ran a 4.5 in high school and he's 6 foot. Surely somebody would take a chance on like a mid-major or something. So I was always curious about that. That 4.9 kind of answers my question there.
No, man. Hey,
but
I mean, I don't know if they had that, if colleges had that number. I hope they didn't, but yeah, that 4.9, it's just not gonna cut it.
Yeah. So tell me this, man. Lastly, well, before I ask you this question, man, I think in the recruits playbook, you mentioned that you only went to one camp, right? Coming out of high school, and that's one thing I talk a lot about is how to market yourself, whether it's following coaches, utilizing social media to enlarge your platform to get your name out there, right? Go to camps and make yourself marketable. Because if your goal is to play or play Division I football to get a scholarship, sometimes guys do kind of slip through the cracks. And I think, that was maybe a case with you that you kind of slipped through the cracks, obviously, because you went third round to the Jacksonville Jaguars. But let me ask you this, Derek. What's one piece of advice that you would give a recruit in today's college football recruiting?
Yeah, I think that when you look at it, when it comes to college football, and this is my experience, a lot of times they will recruit guys off of potential. They can look at an athlete and think, okay, there's some potential there. You obviously have to show some skills on the field, but additionally, if you can go to a camp and run well as a skill guy, I'm speaking from the standpoint of, as a skill guy, but even for, big guys, if you can show some athleticism in high school, I feel that it can present opportunities with colleges. And I say that because my brother that got the scholarship to East Carolina University, it wasn't as if he had these killer numbers his junior year of high school. I mean, I think he had 2 interceptions, some tackles at safety, and that was essentially it. And he went to East Carolina's football camp and he ran a 4.4 going into his senior year. And so for them, it was like, shoot, like this is a local talent. He's running a 4.4. There's something there. I mean, he looks physically fit and strong. Hey, there's something there. So they offer him a scholarship at the camp. And then he goes into his senior year and he just blows up. And it's like, man, this dude is good on offense and defense, running back and safety. And so from my experience and what I've seen, I think that a piece of advice would be focus on that athleticism, and it might be running track, and finding out, hey, is there a track coach locally, or does the school have a track coach that I can get with and actually work on that component of my game? Because you can go to a camp and you blaze the 40. They really don't have a choice but to offer you a scholarship just off of the mere fact that, like,
Absolutely.
there's potential there.
Sure. Yeah. If you are 6 foot and you run a 4.5 as a skill guy, and you do halfway decent in drills, more than likely you're going to get a scholarship offer, right? I mean, that's just the nature of the college football, because as a coach, you know, we think we bet on that guys are still growing and developing, or at least that's kind of my philosophy, right?
Yeah.
So if a guy, if you're 17 years old, typically you're still growing and you're still developing. You ain't gotten into your man body yet. So if this kid comes to camp and does this, then you kind of have to project out, right? Especially your mid-major schools and your mid-major and lower tier Power 5. You got to do some projecting, and you got to do a really good job of evaluating talent, because guys, you got to bet on the progression of guys and development. So
yeah, makes sense.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
So the title of my book is called The Recruit's Playbook. And this book is for aspiring high school student athletes that want to play Division I football or college football at the next level. And it's also for their parents too. Well, I tell you, there are a lot of issues that I've noticed in coaching, and when I went through the process too, that this book addresses. What is a core GPA? What is the sliding scale? What is the recruiting calendar? What camp should I attend? When do I need to commit? So I'm basically giving the tools to the parents and the recruits.